Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Manny V here with Steve Action Jackson for the second day of the live broadcast. We are still on standby, but first, welcome again to the Itacoatiara Pro, sponsored by Pride, Uzek.com, and Net Action. The waves today.
It's pumping out there right now. Here in the booth, we can feel it and hear it pounding out there. We got solid 10-footers coming in, and it's just heavy out there.
I mean, when we roll up into the contest site area, all we see is, there's no perspective. There's nobody out in the water. So what we see is it looks like a shore break, but once you sit down and watch, you can just feel the power. And today is one of those days. It is massive out there. But again, it rained all night. The winds were up, gusting through here. We hung out in the commentator's booth for a couple more hours, getting some work done yesterday, and some wind gusts just like blew out some windows in the media room, and it was pretty hectic. I'm pretty stoked we're still alive.
Yeah, it felt like we had a hurricane coming through yesterday with those strong gale winds, just shaking everything around here yesterday.
I thought we were in the middle of winter in Jersey and nor'easter rolling through.
No, I'll take winter in Brazil over winter in New Jersey any day. It's a little more people-friendly down here.
Yeah, it is warm. I mean, it's a little humid, and it's still getting the sun looks like it wants to come out. But again, the waves are still pumping. The conditions may be not in the right, this is the main event, round number 1 day. So the guys, I talked to Maz Omri Laverne, 2010 world champion, Ben Player, Alex Leon, all the guys are down on the water's edge right now trying to make the call. So as soon as we find out, we're going to let you know if we're going to run the first round of the main event. And let's talk about that, the first round of the main event. Unreal.
Yeah, the lineup for the first round of the main event. I mean, these heats could be quarterfinals, finals. I mean, it's just that kind of talent.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we go into the main event, the guys, the top 24, the guys you came to watch are going to face off with the trialists, the 7 trialists that came to us from the last 2 days here of the competition. Let me tell you, the first day of the trials pretty much separated the men from the boys because it was heavy. I said it yesterday. Imagine taking Porto Escondido and the wedge and putting them together, and that's how heavy it is. You got big, hollow, it's a beach break, big, hollow waves breaking within like 100, 150 yards out from the shore, and it's just pounding and heavy. Look at that rip current on your screen right there. That thing is surging out into the ocean at, I don't know, 10 knots, whatever that means. It's fast.
Yeah, you can see a lot of water moving around out there, a lot of power, and even some of the top-name veteran riders that are here for this competition have had their moments where, they just got caught in the inside on a free surf, and they've taken a couple of waves on the head.
We brought it up yesterday. We saw a couple riders get pounded in the trials. I'm not going to name his name, but one of the riders actually came out of the water, started throwing up on the beach. That's how exhausted he was, just took everything out of him. So the conditions out there are tough. And if you're going to want to advance on out of your heats, you're going to have to dig deep. You got to be physically fit. The cigarettes are out. The alcohol, don't have any until the end of the contest. I mean, seriously, you got to be in top shape to be able to handle these conditions out here at Itacoatiara.
Well, we've seen over the past several years, the world of bodyboarding, we have top-level athletes in this sport. You don't see them. It's not like the 90s. They're not out partying until the wee hours of the morning. They're
Wait
here
a second.
to
I'm
compete.
from the 90s.
Yeah, and what were you doing?
I was partying and going out to the YMA shore break the next day with the South Africans. But he's right. You have to be physically fit. There has been a change in the whole mentality of being a top-level world class professional bodyboarder.
Yes, the approach is much different these days. These are trained athletes. They're physically fit. They've got their training regimens, their eating regimens. And when it's contest window time, it's game on. The partying can come after. The celebrations can come after. Right now, it's game face time.
We've been going through some notes, and Jackson stumbled upon something that I think everybody should know. The person who came in second at the Arica Chilean Challenge just a few weeks ago, Guilherme Temega, he has been a fierce competitor from day one. to put it in perspective, there's only two guys that have had such a dominance in the bodyboarding competition scene: Mike Stewart and Guilherme Temega. But we are on Brazilian soil. Guilherme Temega, give them the insight who we have to who everybody has to deal with once the main event starts.
Going through my notes last night and looking at the list of the history of bodyboarding world champions, which I'd like to thank Craig Haddon from the IBA for compiling so I can use his reference. From 1993 to 2004, Guilherme Temega ranked no lower than third. Unprecedented. He has 6 world championships, 6 runner-ups as vice champion, and 2 years where he finished third in the points. Something we haven't seen from anybody, even the likes of Mike Stewart. He had his championships broken up a little bit more. Temega has had a dominant run for since his first days of hitting the North Shore in Hawaii back in the early 90s. And he's still, at the age of 39, one of the most fierce competitors on the tour. And being here on his home soil, you got to consider him one of the front runners to really go after the crown for this event.
Think about it for a second. For 10 or 11 years in a row, Guilherme Temega has been ranked in the top 3. That's 11 years. That's like that's unbelievable. And here he is. 2004 was his last top 3 finish in the World Tour. We're at 2012. It's been a long break from his top reign. And after seeing what he did in Arica the last 2 years, it's obvious he has his eyes set on another world title. And I just got word right now that at 10 o'clock Brazilian time is when the pros and the tour organizer and the tour director will sit down once again at 10 o'clock. Take it away for a second.
Actually, to make a quick correction to what my co-host Manny said, actually the last time he placed it was actually the top 2. 2008, he finished second behind fellow countryman Uri Valadown, who is also here at this event, the 2008 world champion.
That's right.
So even though Temega hasn't had the run he had from 1993 to 2004, he has still been very competitive every year. Basically, for the past 2 decades, Guilherme Temega has not finished outside the top 10 in the final points rankings, and he's still in the thick of it. We saw it last year at Arica. We even saw it this year at Arica. He came that close to pulling out back-to-back wins in Chile. I'd keep an eye on him. He's going to be very, very dangerous out here in his home territory.
You know what? We've been putting a lot of attention on Guilherme the first 10 minutes of this broadcast, but just put a couple coins on Guilherme because he is definitely one to watch. But again, you have Ben Player. You have last year's world champion, PLC, Pierre-Louis Costa from France. He is definitely one to reckon with. You know what? We look at the entire heat draw of the main event rounds, and any one of these guys has a shot. But again, it is Guilherme Temega who may have the upper hand here. He's hungry. He's looking for redemption after losing out in the last 20 seconds against Dave Winchester at the Arica Chilean Challenge just a couple weeks ago. And here we are in Brazil. So, again, as you can see on your screen right there, 10 o'clock Brazilian time is when we will know if we're going to run main event round number 1. So, the skies are clearing up just a little bit. I did see some blue skies up there, but we want to make sure that the conditions are right, the cameras are ready, and the riders are ready before we start with the main event round number 1. So, again, Manny V, Steve Action Jackson, this is the Itacoatiara Pro, sponsored by Pride, USEC.com and net, and you guys don't want to miss any of the action because this beach, I've heard the stories, and they're all true. This beach is heavy.
Yes, and we definitely want to make sure we have some coffee in us so we can bring you the most energetic, best wave-by-wave coverage out in the water. We're going to see some heavy, heavy stuff go down out in the water today. You want to stay tuned. Manny was touching on it. There's other guys to keep an eye on. Dave Winchester, I would definitely keep an eye on. His pre-serves out here have been phenomenal. He's been boosting. He's been really consistent this year. And he's come close before. He was runner-up vice champion in 2009 behind Jeff Hubbard. Could this be the year for Dave Winchester?
Well, Dave Winchester, as you can see from the Arica Chilean Challenge, he has that, under-the-radar composure, very cool and calm. But once he touches the water, he is a He's a very technical competitor, strategies, and he was cool and calm all the way through the final and was able to pull off that win against Guilherme in the last event. So Dave Winchester, definitely another one. But Jeff Hubbard, he's one of those guys who also wants a piece of the pie, and he's definitely one to watch out too.
Something I've learned from not only our time here for this event, but from the Buzios competition in 2010, Jeff Hubbard really likes it down here in Brazil. He feels really at home in the waves down here. He has a lot of fun in the conditions with, some fun, powerful waves. A lot of these breaks remind him of some of the beach breaks back home in Hawaii.
And you know what? When I see him walking down the beach with his hood over his head, I'm like, who's this Brazilian walking up? Not only can he ride the waves here in Brazil like he's a local, but he even looks like one.
I think part of the reason he keeps the hood over his head is he can't get off the beach without 20 minutes of autographs down here.
Yeah, that's what he has to deal with pretty much all over the world. But again, Jeff Hubbard, Dave Winchester, Guilherme Temega, definitely guys to keep an eye on. But Ryan Hardy, I mean, I can go through the entire list and tell you why each one of these guys are definitely out for the hunt. And, the waves are, as you can see on your screen, looking way better than they have been in the last couple days.
Yeah, Ryan Hardy, another one who's been having some good sessions down here. Amare Laverne, and, I mean, just the guys coming up in Heat 1 of Round 1 of the main event. Ben Player, Jared Houston, Brazilian Ider Luciano, and the trialist Daniel Ferreira. I mean, all of these guys are going to be out there giving it their all. So, I mean, it's really, as always, it's anybody's game because the list of talent from top to bottom is unbelievable.
Let's touch on the trials a little bit more. The last 2 days, the trials went down, and it ended up we had 8 Brazilians in the semifinals, 4 and 4. And one of which did not advance on to the main event. But Brazilians, every heat I saw in the trials, there was at least 1 or 2 or 3 Brazilians in each heat. And they're seeing what they can do in these conditions and seeing how physically fit they are. It's it's on a different level here.
Well, so far through this event, through the trials, the Brazilians have taken advantage of the opportunity to show what they have here in their home territory, their home breaks. Both of the trialist wild cards from here at Itacoatiara advanced to the main event. As Manny was saying, all 7 of the trialists moving on. Brazilians showing what they've got out in the water, even in these heavy, trying conditions.
All right, as you saw on your screen, we do have a call at 10 o'clock, so we're going to wrap it up here. This is the Itacoatiara Pro, sponsored by Pride, USEC.com, and Net. Manny V with Action Jackson. We'll be back at 10 o'clock. That's about 3 hours from now, so if you're if you're waking up in the late or early morning to tune in, take a 3-hour nap, get back here, and we'll have the next call, whether we're going to run or not. The riders, the organizer, and the director are going to sit down, talk about it, and see what's up. Jackson and I, we're going to hang out here. We'll be on the IBA Facebook. We'll be sending out tweets, and Shaggy's in Hawaii right now. He'll be doing the same. Andrew Bleakley, he's over in the judges area. He'll be doing the same. So if you want the latest updates, go to the IBAWorldTour.com website or Facebook and Twitter, IBA World Tour. So that's it. Jackson, any last words before we sign off for a few hours?
Yeah, don't forget also to check out IBA on Google+.
Yes.
Manny's going to be working on putting together the IBA Hangouts. I think we're going to try and do one tonight. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're going to – no, that's Wednesday.
Wednesday, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself, folks. Jumping right past the weekend. But stay tuned to IBA on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. IBAWorldTour.com/live for the live feed at 10 o'clock. Also, YouTube.com/IBA World Tour. Stay tuned. Go grab some coffee or whatever you need to do.
I'm going to go get some Halls, man. Get rid of this cough. We'll see you in a few hours.
Yep.
Peace.